Good evening, folks. Welcome back to another Wednesday night hobby hangout. How the hell is everybody? I hope you're all well. Apologies for Monday. I was a bit later than expected getting back from my weekend away with the family on Monday, and I had a bit of a busy afternoon with stuff I already had to do, and then I kind of just I ran out of time to get stuff sorted. So I thought rather than just kind of winging it and not doing a very good stream, I thought I'm better off kind of waiting and doing a doubly good job next week. So let's have a look and see who the heck we've got tonight. We had, if I can move my mouse across there, Lord Maiden was in nice and early as well, saying he's hoping everyone has a good evening and the stream goes well, but he's off to play Moonstone. Get them games in, mate. Peter Nicholas, good evening to you, sir. Peter Kuma's trying to decide between his Bloodletters or his Zulu Warriors. I did read he's chosen the Bloodletters. Ortega can't stay as well, but he says he's been looking forward to catching up in the rerun. Hello, Ortega. Blizzard says Kippy Kaye. Yeah, I don't think it's the wrong group. We're doing a little bit of Lost World or a bit of Wild West Exodus tonight. You can go with your Wild West theming. Christian, good evening to you, mate. Hope you're very well. John Estel said he's working on his goblins today. Nice work, mate. I hope they're coming along nicely. Tolmart, nice to see you in here, mate, rather than in the community tab. Tasty Brain Drain, good evening to you as well, my friend. Anna as well from Red Rose Wargaming, good evening. John saying hobby hangout and licorice also. It's my kind of evening. I'm not a fan of licorice, mate. I don't know what it is about it. There's very few sweets that I don't eat. Let's be honest. You don't get a body like this, sort of trying to be healthy. But yeah, licorice is not one of my favourites. Templar Knight 1119, he says, I'm loving the British Rocketeer unit they previewed for Wild West Exodus and concept art for British and Japanese infantry. There's some beautiful stuff that's coming out, mate. Welcome to the chat, first of all. Thank you very much for joining us. But yeah, there's some really nice stuff that's been teased and is releasing. Kodos, good evening to you as well, mate. He said, oh no, sorry, I just saw the key there. I thought it was two posts. Cardos Dogforge as well says, hope you're doing well. I'm doing very well, thanks for asking. Michael Cowan said he's currently playing Left 4 Dead and forgot this was on in the background until you started talking. Give you a bit of a shock, mate, with all the zombies running about as well, did I? So tonight we are going to be painting a little bit of a Wild West Exodus, Lost World Exodus crossover in the model that is Mr. Ears. So I've had this for a little while now, and it's kind of been built and primed. And then when I was setting up this morning, I thought, what shall I paint tonight? And I thought, I'm just going to paint something for a bit of fun, just relax, painting for no particular reason, just painting because I enjoy the kind of the process of it. So Michael said he thought the zombies were talking. Yeah, with a northeast accent. So yeah, so we're going to be painting Mr. Ears, who is kind of a bit of a construct, a bit of a stitched together kind of gorilla thing there. He does have a kind of like a robotic metal arm here as well with metal claw. As you can see some of the stitches across his arms and his chest and his legs. We'll be picking them out, but I think we're just going to we're not going to sort of do anything too special with them. We're doing a bit of contrast painting, a bit of normal painting, just pull it all together, I think. Peter Nicholas says he's sorry he's a bit late. He had 2 cups of tea and the time just went. I've just finished my cup up. Right in front of that camera, finishing my cup of coffee off there, so you move that out of the way so I don't knock it over. Otherwise, you can guarantee that will go all over the place. So we might as well make a start. So I'm going to be doing his kind of like his skin color, if you like. His the flesh color. I'm going to be doing that grey and then a bit of a darker grey on the fur and stuff. So we're just going to go with trusty old contrast. Get it in the camera, he says. Contrast basilicum grey, and I'm going to mix that with a bit of a 50-50 mix with the contrast medium as well, just to thin it out a little bit. It seems to it basically stops it kind of pooling quite so much. Johnson, is there a reason he's called Mr. Ears? Do you know what, mate? I'm sure there is a reason. I'm just looking to see if I've still got the box handy. I'm sure there is a reason. I don't know what it is. Maybe that's all that's kind of that's left from the original body. Who knows? Right, let's get a bit of just get an old brush out to get some of that contrast paint out. In fact, I think what I'm going to do is start by taking this out. Yoakum, good evening, folks. Good evening, Yoakum. How you doing? Hope you're well, fella. Hope you're well. And I see him Peter's a potting. Peter says, wasn't there a cheeky zombie flick in an English accent? Takes place in a retirement home. The name escapes me. There's been a few kind of British horrors, mate, like kind of almost sort of tongue-in-cheek with zombies in, but the one that you're talking about doesn't spring to mind, mate. I've no idea what that one is. Busey says, evening all, is everyone watching the football tonight? I would imagine, mate, while the Euros is on, I think that the views are going to be a bit lower than normal. I think while the nice weather's here, the sun's out, the Euros are on. Let's be honest, if it was an England game tonight, I wouldn't be streaming either. So yeah, I think we're gonna. You always see a bit of a drop over the summer, to be honest, in views and viewers and that type of stuff. Just gotta keep going, haven't I? For the hardcore, the ones that come every week. So yeah, but of course, yeah, as soon as you get a bit of nice weather and stuff, people want to be out. Restrictions around the world are starting to lift as well, so people are making the most of getting outdoors now. So yeah, I would assume we'll get a few less. Jeff Higdon, hello to you. Temple Knight, he said, I played with Secret Service Posse last week against the Thundercat theme posse. I like what they called again, the Necromartyr, isn't it? That's the Thundercat one. I was playing some Marvelous Crisis Protocol next week at my gaming club. I've just started playing that, mate. I'm a big fan of that. I made a video recently about why I've been completely wrong about it, and I do wish I'd tried it out a bit earlier, if I'm honest, because I'm really enjoying it. So yeah. So this is kind of roughly a 50-50 mix of Basilicum Grey contrast paint and the contrast medium over the top of just a very lightly kind of zenithal primed miniature. I'm not being too careful with it because we're going to darken down some of the fur areas. It's already pretty grey, so yeah, Peter saying Cockneys versus Zombies, just looked it up. Yeah, that's the one, mate. Morning VJ, how the devil are you, my friend? Hope you're keeping well. VJ says, time for a cuppa and some paint. Nice. Michael says, I totally must get multitasking now. Left 4 Dead, football, and BlackJack Legacy. I must admit, I did check the scores just to kind of see who England are going to be playing in the next round. So I have been kind of keeping an eye on the France and Portugal game and the Germany-Hungary game. Hungary winning 1-0, or they were when I last checked, against Germany, which would actually put Germany out of the tournament. And France and Portugal are playing a 0-0 draw. So let's see how that progresses. But yeah, as John says there, good job England are playing on Tuesday next week. No, I couldn't have felt better, could it? It's bound to catch up at some point, mate, where it'll clash with a live stream somewhere, and I do like to watch the England games. I'm not a huge fan of football in general, but I do like to kind of watch the big tournaments and the big events. Peter says, I'll watch the England games, but I hope you don't clash with them. Yeah, to be honest, mate, if I clash, I probably won't. Especially, to be honest, I mean, let's be honest, England are through the last 16 now. If they go further in the tournament after Tuesday's game, people are going to want to watch it really and stuff. And there is a big chunk of my audience are from the UK as well, from England. So I think it's kind of a bit of a silly thing to stream while I'm up against something rather large like England in the quarterfinals of a European tournament or something. 1-0 to Portugal. Ooh, I think I'd actually like to see. Actually, is that good for us? I'm trying to think now. Yeah, that might be good for us. Actually, I think that might actually put Hungary into second place, which means we're playing Hungary in the next round. Nice one. VG saying, so much things opening both games days and gig on Friday cancelled due to snap lockdown. Tell you what, man, I feel sorry for you over there. You guys were so far ahead of everybody else. It feels like you're kind of stuck in this perpetual open close thing. But it's not the way for ourselves. So yeah, that's a little bit of this grey is a little bit. You've thinned this a little bit too much. It doesn't seem to be doing too much colour, but I guess there's nothing wrong with that. It's getting me a nice kind of light grey It's allowing the zenithal colouring kind of come through, so it's all right. Tony Howell, hello sir, how are you doing? VG says, give me games over sports ball any day. Yeah, I know you're not a fan, mate, but yeah, I guess doubly not a fan by the fact that Australia are not in the Euros, so for obvious reasons. And when I say obvious reasons, I mean because it's not in Europe, not because of the quality of their team. So yeah, but like I say, American football is my sport. That's what I like watching. I look forward to when the NFL season comes back around again later this year. But yeah, football I can kind of take or leave it these days, but I do like to watch the big tournaments. BG says 10 cases in a day and the metro area locks down. Oh my god. Yeah, I can imagine how frustrating that is, fella. Especially when it's your work as well, kind of basically getting cut off at the legs for that. Busey saying, one thing I thought was a little crazy, 60,000 allowed in the Euro final, but don't go on holiday, it's too risky. I saw somebody on Twitter today, or it might have been Twitter, it might have been like on a news post or something saying, we can have 60,000 people at Wembley, but I can't dance at my brother's wedding. It's a bit, it is a bit kind of contradictory at the minute. I'm getting a little bit tired of it myself, so I'm gonna not talk about it. Otherwise, you'll start to see my frustrations coming out, I think. Yeah, time to paint, says VJ. Peter says, did Debs get any supper yet? VJ says, we're in the Eurovision. Do you know what? Eurovision isn't anything to do with Europe anymore now, mate. I think it's pretty much just open to anybody that wants to take part so they can make a bit of money out of it. To be honest, we might as well not bother with Eurovision anymore. I've no idea why we still do, to be honest. It's the most political, non-political tournament I've ever seen. Well, not tournament, but you know what I mean, event. Tasty Brain Drain saying, sounds like him as well. He's got BlackJack Legacy on, doing convention work, and there's my actual job. The only reason I'm not doing that right now is because there's nothing to do. Nice one. Boycott Eurovision. I honestly just don't see the point. I've never seen the point in Eurovision. I'm not like sort of one of these people that tunes in and watches it every year. I've never really seen the point in Eurovision. It's the weirdest thing ever. It's completely lost on me, but yeah, just feels like a really, really weird event. I can't even say it's a competition really, because it's not really based upon how good anybody is. It just seems everybody votes for their political allies, and the songs are almost irrelevant. Red Rush, I love Eurovision. It makes me laugh when all the patriots get angry at us being terrible. It's so important to be able to laugh at yourself. I just don't understand it. It's not about like, it's not even about being patriotic. I just don't even understand it. I've got no idea why we enter it. Because it's just like a laughing stock now, and I don't know why anybody, like as a singer, would want to enter it. Why would you want to kill your musical career by entering Eurovision for the UK? So yeah, I don't understand it. Unless of course you get paid vast sums of money. Maybe that's why people do it. I have no idea. I might have to just put a little bit more. Just there, straight. Tony's in Eurovision, probably the only competition that sensible people want to win. Why would sensible people want to win it? I don't understand why anybody would want to win it. I don't understand why anybody would want to take part. Never mind winning. Anyway, this is not the Eurovision painting competition, so. John saying drinking with friends Eurovision makes sense. I get when people have those kind of parties, to be honest, and make a bit of fun out of it. I do get that, but I don't really understand the event itself. Tony saying massive taxpayer expense to host next year's event. Yeah, I've never really understood that, mate. I mean, it costs an absolute fortune. The amount of countries that have won it and then can't afford to host it over the years is quite a big thing, I think. That's why I just like, I don't think there's any kind of like, it's not like any prestige attached to it. Like I couldn't tell you who won it this year, for example. I know it was recent. The only thing I remember was all that the guy had to get a drugs test. That's all I remember about it, because it was all over kind of Twitter the next day. But I don't know which country they were from. I couldn't kind of name a song. So I think gone are the days of like sort of big people becoming big stars. People like, I can't say it, big stars. People like Bucks Fizz and sort of, didn't Cliff Richard take part in it and stuff like that years ago? Like, I think gone are those days. But yeah, we started the chat with an interesting one tonight, haven't we? Gareth Lewis, good evening to you. How are you doing? Cola says Eurovision, is the commentator said it best. We got the first place last time. Oh no, he has won that crap for us. Yeah, I'm not really. I don't really understand it. So I guess we must kind of make comment about the Warhammer announcement tonight as well, about Warhammer Plus. They talked about it for a little while now, but we finally got the details for it. I must admit, I think it's absolutely fantastic value. If you're a Warhammer fan, if you're somebody that already pays for the apps and stuff like that, I think it really is fantastic value. It's not worth it for me. It wouldn't be worth it for me for half that price. I'm just not really interested in those Warhammer games, if I'm perfectly honest. But I do think if you're into Warhammer and stuff, I think it's pretty much a no-brainer really for 50 quid a year, and it includes a free miniature. It seems like a bit of a no-brainer really if you're a Warhammer fan. But I think I'll be keeping my 50 quid personally. Blizzard says, I have no idea what Eurovision is. Really? Oh, Scott Longworth, how are you doing, mate? Nice to see you. How was your weekend? Was it this weekend you were away, mate? I think it was, wasn't it? Or it might have been last weekend. I don't remember now. But yeah, I saw the pictures and stuff. I hope you had a good time. So let's stick to Britain's Got Talent. At least there's a prize for that one, eh? To be honest, I don't watch any of those kind of shows. I don't watch like sort of I'm a Celebrity or kind of any of those types of shows. It's not really my kind of bag, really. I'd rather spend my time doing something else. Alright, so we're just, yeah, for those that's just joined, we're painting Mr. Ears, who is a Lost World Exodus mini, which can also be used in Wild West Exodus by War Cradle Studios. And I'm just kind of getting the skin tone in, which I'm using Basilicum Grey contrast paint. I'm just kind of gradually layering that up to darken it down a little bit. We'll get that kind of grey skin tone. We'll come in with a bit of a darker grey to do the fur a little bit later. And we'll just keep sort of plugging away. I'm just painting for a bit of fun tonight. Just painting because it's a really nice mini. Just having a bit of a chill, bit of a kickback. Starting to get back on track now with some videos. I've got another video ready to go for tomorrow as well. Is the studio tour that I've been promising since we finished doing the studio here. So you'll be able to see the studio in all its glory tomorrow as a bit of a tour around. Obviously last week's video on the Marvel Crisis Protocol is doing okay. The one from this week as well on Uncertain Scenery. People seem to enjoy that as well. So yeah, it's nice. It's nice to start to kind of get back on the video wagon, as we say. Is there talking down some of this? I remember Terry Wogan taking the mickey out of Eurovision. He saw it for what it was, and the cheeky boy about his observations. I think who does it now? What's he called again? The Irish chat show host. Somebody will probably tell me before I remember his name now. Graham Norton, that's it. Yeah, I think Graham Norton kind of takes it very much sort of tongue in cheek as well these days. Is he saying France just scored? Oh, that puts them to 1 each now, is it? Interesting. Well, they're all going out to... you obviously don't want to play England in the next round. Marcus says, whoops, a little late. No worries, Marcus. Nice to see you, mate. Well, saying, yeah, he's normally working, but not tonight. Good stuff, mate. Scott said it was amazing. It looked like you had fun, mate, from the pictures. It looked like... it is Dorian, isn't it? Looks like you had a great time. Blizzard said, is anything like America's Got Talent? It kind of is, mate. But, like, it's just... Like, each of these different Eurovision countries basically enter a song. And it's just like a big singing competition. Like a big sort of, well, like a song competition, really. But what happens is basically, like... Sort of all the different countries just vote for their neighbours. So, like... Belgium, Holland, like sort of Luxembourg all vote for each other. Like all the different countries that are dotted about just vote for themselves, and basically nobody votes for the UK. Peter says, "Oh, it's great contrast. I thought your close-up can went monochrome." Yes, it's great contrast, mate. We'll get a little bit of colour on it soon, mate. Yes. Look, honestly, look. There's my hand. Tiny War Games. Hello, mate. How are you doing? Nice to see you. Tiny Monkey says, bloke. Yes, nice to see you, mate. Tolmart says, don't forget to leave a like. Yeah, thank you very much, mate. Likes are very much appreciated. Just gives the YouTube algorithm a little bit of a nudge now and again. And you'd be surprised what difference it makes. So yeah, I do appreciate that. Scott's saying I have some very adult themed videos when I was very drunk. I don't want to know, mate. I do want to know, just not on the live stream because I can't read it out. Tony says, Mr. A's is a beautiful mini. If I painted again, I'd keep the cattle prod separate to make painting life easier, but such a wonderful mini. It won't be that bad, mate, I don't think. I can't even remember how it fitted, to be honest. I don't remember how it was, which bits it was part of. To be honest, the way it's glued together, it's such a nice sculpt. I can't even remember how many bits had come in and where the bits fitted. So nicely, so nicely made. Anyway, let's get a little bit of colour on it just to brighten it up a touch. So I think we're gonna go with a bit of red. I'm feeling in a red mood tonight. I think we'll start with a bit of Mephiston red as a base. Listen, sounds just as dreadful as America's Got Talent. It's even worse, mate. You don't even want to. I tell you what, in fact, Google it, and then you'll know exactly what we're talking about. When the show is finished tonight, you Google it, and then you'll be able to just say, "Oh my God, what have I just watched?" Yeah, that's all I can really explain it. That's all how I can explain it, mate. Peter says your special effect pink hand don't fool me. Derek says even our nearest neighbours, France and Ireland, don't vote for the UK. Nobody votes for the UK, mate. And our exploits of Brexit did not help our chances. That's it's no surprise we get 0 points, as they say. Jez Hunt, good evening to you, mate. How are you doing? And Cypher F as well, saying hail, dude. Hello, Cypher. How are you doing? Nice to see you in the chat this evening. So this is Mephiston red. Look. Red paint, and I think I'm just going to paint these cloth bits here just to get a bit colour on it so it doesn't look quite so dull on the stream. So this is just Mephiston red thinned down a little bit with some airbrush thinners. Just get a nice thin coat on it, and we'll just keep building that up over a few layers. And bits in there. On the edge. I'm not being super careful. We'll clean any bits up afterwards. So, Scott says the video's on my wild camping channel on YouTube. Okay, mate, I'll definitely have to go and check it out now. Then, well, not now, not this second, but I will do later. I definitely want to see it. Definitely want to see it. But I'm glad you had a good time, mate. Nice that you got to do something for the lad's 40th as well, especially considering what an awful year it's been. So I know how much you guys really need to kind of get out into the wild and let your hair down a bit. Well, you know what I mean, let your hair down. Peter says it's like Scotland and the footy. And he's agreed, Mr. Ears is a lovely build experience. Yeah, I quite enjoyed building it, I think. Like, I quite enjoyed building it. As I always mention, the building of models is the least enjoyable bit for me. But I must admit, I do quite enjoy building these war cradle resins, and that they always fit together really nicely. I've not had a bad experience with one yet, so it's nice to. They are nice to build. I've got some metal Corvus Belly minis that arrived to build as well, and I ain't looking forward to that, if I'm perfectly honest. I've always struggled with painting those minis, with building those minis. They seem to never quite glue together properly, but this is the first time I have had super glue with activator. We'll see if that makes it a bit more of a pleasurable experience. Right, it's a bit of I want to get to that, so we're not going to worry too much about it. If the brush can't touch it, the eye won't see it, as they say. Right, I don't think I'm going to paint any red on his backpack and stuff, but we'll pick some of those bits out later. So yeah, we'll let that red dry a bit. Jesse Braintree says, I always find it funny that many of the judges for America's Got Talent were either not American or were Americans with no talent. I find not even the contestants now on those shows, or like on Britain's Got Talent, I can't remember the amount of times that somebody that's not from Britain's won it. It's such a kind of like a kickstart to people's careers now. They travel all over the world trying to enter these competitions. Right. I think. Oh, do you know what it is? I'm going to give him a red hat. I wasn't going to paint any more red, but I think that will just help balance it out a little bit. Cypher F says, my kids and wife are painting as we speak. His wife's using an airbrush. Awesome. Well, hello to the Cypher F family. All getting their hobby on. Very nice to hear. Scott says, any good tips for weathering MDF buildings? I find, mate, sponging stuff on, so using bits of kind of torn up sponges with a bit of kind of like dark brown paint and just dabbing it on so it looks like a little bit of kind of like flaked off paint or a bit of like sort of rust coming through, something like that. Thin down washes and stuff as well, or like an oil wash to basically kind of like run down the side of the building so it looks like sort of stained running down the sides, because there's generally not a lot of texture to MDF buildings. Like you almost have to paint the effect on, if you like. That's what I tend to do with those type of things. Oh yeah, no, I'm just going off the screen a little bit there. I'm just while I'm painting the rim of his hat. Marcus is saying his nephew and niece just went home. Nice to have a bit of family over there, mate. I was away at the weekend with my wife and my little one, and her sister, my sister's husband, and their 2 children as well. So my little nephew and niece as well. And it was a nice little family weekend away. Just a little bit of a break from seeing the same 4 walls for a bit, and they're a good bunch as well. So nice to kind of hang out with them as well. Not really seen a lot of them sort of through the last year. So we used to kind of, me and my wife and her sister and her husband used to kind of like sort of socialise together a lot before we all had kids. Used to go to music festivals together and stuff, and me and him used to go away to football matches and go to watch boxing at Wembley and stuff like that. So yeah, we used to spend a lot of time together. And then obviously with having kids, that's the kind of thing eases up a bit anyway. But then over the last year, not being able to see each other, it was nice to kind of catch up again, really. Me and Graham, my brother-in-law's called me, and Graham sat and watched the England game on Friday night in a bar where we were staying, which was quite nice. So yeah, it was nice to kind of do normal things again. Say for FC, I'm gifted in this way. My family loves music and crafts. It's nice when they kind of like, when you like, I mean, it's nice when you've got your own hobbies as well and you can have a bit of time to yourself. But it's lovely when families can kind of sit together and do a bit of a hobby together. It just gives you common interest, and that's what life's about, basically. Just spending time with people who share interests with stuff that you do too. Right, there's a bit of red on that, just to brighten it up a little bit. I think we'll get a little bit of metallics, I think, onto some of those metal parts, just to jazz it up a bit. I think we'll go with like a bronze, and then we'll build up with a bit of silver on top of it. I think the bronze will probably go a bit better with the grey rather than a stark silver. So we'll go with. Do we go with brass? Do we go with bronze? You know what? I think we're going to start with Warplock bronze. So, which is quite a dark metallic actually. But then we'll come back from that one. Scott's saying it's the sunken Venetian buildings I'm working on for Carnivale. I think in that case, mate, round the bottoms is probably where you want to kind of concentrate on, like, as if you know, as the water level comes up and down a little bit. That might be a good way to make it look like the tide's kind of coming in and out. You might want to do something like that. I don't know if you can hear that. That's my neighbour's Land Rover pulling up outside. Bring this down a little bit. Dominic saying hi all. Just pop in to see Andy and his planned mistakes. I don't make mistakes, mate. I just make happy accidents, as they say. So, yeah. And I am totally winging this as I go, by the way. I've got no real kind of preconceived plan or anything for it. I really am kind of just winging it a bit. Dominic, oh yeah, we just said that one. Russell Higgins says, love painting Mr. Ears. He is unique on the tabletop. Yeah, it's a very different aesthetic, isn't it? Different look. Yeah, I do like the model, I must admit. I think it's a great model. War Cradle and Off-Writing to kind of have their own style and do some different things. We were talking about the Thundercat stuff, the Necromata faction before, and I think that's another example, basically, of they're not scared of doing something a little bit different, which is good to see. There's a lot of companies play it safe and kind of stick to the same old kind of tried and tested sci-fi or fantasy tropes. Quite nice to see something a bit different. Yeah, I'm just coming in with a little bit of Citadel's Warplock bronze. Just painting some of the metallic areas. I will lighten it up from this. I just think starting from a darker base, and then we'll come in and we'll do some kind of like chipping and scratching and stuff like that on it with the silvers and a little bit of dry brushing, I think, just to pick up the tops and stuff. I like to start with like not like a rusted colour, but just a bit more depth to it. I think that'll sit better with the grey skin tones. What's in? Yeah, they're already painted. I do have a moss weathering sprayer. That might not be a bad shout, mate. Just in kind of smaller areas. Christian sharing the link there for the Patreon as well. Thank you very much, my friend. Really do appreciate you doing the good work there, sharing that link. If you would like to help support the channel, it's a huge help to me. I do this full time now, so, and I have done. Next weekend, I'll have been doing this for exactly 12 months full time, and that's been absolutely fantastic. Getting to do the thing you love every day for a job is a very, very special thing to do, and I'm blessed by you lot that allow me to kind of continue doing it. So thank you very much, everybody, for your Patreon, your donations on the live streams, you buying the merchandise, shopping at the affiliate links, all that kind of stuff. It makes it not only does it make a big difference to kind of like for me being able to do what I do, but it makes a big difference to my life, to the life of my family and everything. Get to take my little one to nursery and pick them up and spend time with them during the holidays and stuff, and pick and choose the hours that I work so that I can I can spend time with family, which I never used to be able to do. So yeah, it's a blessing in more ways than just kind of like, it's not just a financial thing. It allows me to kind of have a very different life, which is couldn't have dreamed of this kind of 2 years ago. But yeah, thank you everybody for your help and support. Where are we up to? Cypher FCN, love that red. Yeah, I just really like painting red, if I'm honest. I always kind of start with Mephiston red. I come up to, is it Wild Rider red? Let me just double check. Evil Sun Scarlet, and then a highlight of Wild Rider red over the top. And then depending upon what it is, I'll sometimes put a little spot of like squig orange or something like that in it. But I just quite like painting red. I feel like I've got like a little triad of colours that I use for it. I just find it always works really well. Got a nice colour for like a light blue as well, that always works well. So yeah, I do kind of, I wouldn't say I had a painting style as such, but I do have kind of like a palette of colours that I use multiple times over things. So you can normally tell if I've painted it if it's those particular colours. Jez Hunt says, bought Crooked Dice's new 7TV fantasy game at the weekend. Turned up yesterday, quite a box full of stuff, lovely stuff, good quality, looks like a good fun game. I didn't actually realise that 7TV sort of came with a load of stuff. I always thought it was like kind of like a bit of a, no, it's not miniature agnostic as such, but like you basically, it's like you're playing a TV show, isn't it? So you can kind of change the theme of the game to suit the miniatures that you've got. So but I think they also, I don't know whether they do the miniatures themselves or if they just work with other companies to do them. But I've seen like Scooby-Doo minis and sort of Blake 7 stuff and all sorts of like 70s and 80s TV sort of things, Doctor Who stuff and things like that. It looks pretty interesting. I think I had a demo of it years and years ago at Salute, but I must admit I don't remember a lot about it now. So long time before I used to do the YouTube stuff. Back when I used to go to Salute, to be fair. Yeah, I don't remember a lot about it. I see it was a long time ago. Where are you up to? VJ says, agreed. Doing what you love for a living is awesome when you're allowed. Oh, tell us about me, honestly. I wish there was something we could do to kind of magically help you out, because it feels like you're right on the cusp of kind of getting back to it, aren't you? It's so frustrating for you. Feel your pain, mate. Honestly, I do. Stu's in as well. He says, hello, all late at the party, but a nice way to round off your day. Welcome to the chat this evening, mate. Hope your day's been good. When he says, yeah, I steered away from the Thundercats. Being a little older, they didn't tick my boxes. But that's fine. Horses for courses and all that. I quite like the Thundercats ones, actually. I mean, I shouldn't really call them Thundercats. They're not. Although I did start to paint mine a little bit of a Thundercats aesthetic, to be fair. Like, I think it was Pantera. What's it called? His name now. The Panther one, anyway, the blue one. But yeah, I quite like them. They're a bit different. But yeah, that's the beauty with those the Wild West extra stuff. They're not all just very Wild West. There's a real mix of stuff in there, especially with the alien races and stuff as well. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Right, so we're just getting in, just putting the colours down. We're not being too careful. For anybody that's new to painting and you're kind of like you're always a bit scared and a bit put off by it. What was that one? Tony, thank you very much, mate. It is love to you and the family as always. Treat yourself to a nice bottle this weekend. You are very, very kind, my friend. You didn't need to do that, but it is hugely appreciated. Yeah, like I've always said, I mean, I need to make enough to make sure that this is sustainable and that it's basically, I'm not kind of like sort of and I'm not managing to pay the bills or anything like that. And I'll be honest, I'm right on the raggy edge of it. I make just enough, if you like. So like when Patreons drop out or I have like less views 1 month or something like that, it does make a difference. But that's why I came into this with savings and stuff, to give myself some time to grow and to build it up. But I'm loving it. I still have ups and downs and stuff, like, just because I've never worked in like a kind of like, I've never worked on my own before like this, like I do now, and that's the biggest change, that's the biggest hurdle. But the blessings of it, if you like, far outweigh any downsides. And money's not everything. You need to be able to pay bills, but beyond that, it's as long as you're enjoying what you're doing, that's worth a lot less money, to be honest. Anyway, John says Panthers. He was awesome. In my head, he's called like Pantera or something like that, but I don't know if I'm getting mixed up with. Isn't there like a metal band called that? I think that's probably where I'm getting it mixed up a bit. So let's get that back on camera a little bit there. Put a little mark on my table, so if I always go like that, like if I come away and go like that, at least I know I'm always back on camera kind of thing. But then when I lean it forward to do a bit, I keep forgetting that bit goes off. Just got to keep remembering. Yeah, we're just getting the metallic in there a little bit. So he's got like a kind of some kind of bionic arm here a little bit. I don't know if you can tell from that, but he's got like sort of like a metal hand there, where his other hand's like a normal kind of gorilla claw thing. So. I was just getting them basic metals down. Panthro, that's it. Yeah, Panthro, that's what it was. I couldn't remember the name. Thank you, folks. I can always rely on you lot in the chat to keep me right. Some things I've got like a memory for remembering some absolutely sort of useless pieces of information, but then other things just, and for love and money, remember them. I think that's just getting old. Just getting old, that's all it is. So camera there. There we go. Get more into colour into that one as well. I've got a memory like a steel. Safe. Yeah. Do you know what it is? Like, I'm good at like pub quizzes and stuff like that. So I've definitely got one of those memories that remembers, like, I remember song lyrics from songs that I haven't heard in like 15 years. I'm good with certain kind of like just random general knowledge bits of information. TV shows and films I'm normally pretty good with. But, yeah, when I'm put on the spot on a live stream, sometimes my mind just goes blank. So I don't know if any of you saw my message on Facebook today from the Facebook group about Mantic's game. So they've got a bit of a live stream, a bit of a reveal thing coming up at the weekend. A bit like their kind of, what they call their open day type things that they do, their virtual open days. Talking a little bit about Armada, a little bit about Kings of War, but they're also revealing more information about their new game coming up, which is called Overdrive. Now, I don't know anything about it. I'm not kind of like playing the coy saying, well, like I know what it is, but I can't tell you. I don't know anything about it. Anything I know is what I've seen online, the same as all of you as well. Excuse me. So I was kind of asking what people thought it was. Because for me, the Overdrive name, I mean, it definitely has some vibe of Dread Bowl about it, set in that kind of Warpath universe with some very similar looking types of models, like artwork rather than models, sorry. And it definitely feels, well, it talks about arena, it talks about coaches. So for me, it does have a feel of like, and with the name Overdrive as well, it does have a feel of like kind of like pushing the limits, kind of like if I think of Overdrive, I think as in kind of like sort of pushing something beyond its kind of capability, if you like, going into overdrive. So I do think maybe it's some kind of, I think the way it was talked about as well, it was maybe some kind of like sort of drafting mechanic. It does feel very much like some kind of sort of battle arena type thing with bigger models, which actually would be which would be awesome. Tony says, but we get ups and downs in the corporate world too. Differences, it's better quality of life now. Yeah, I tell you what, mate, it's like I said before, I think a bad day doing what I do now is still better than a good day doing what I used to do. And like today, so little one went off to nursery this morning. It's kind of getting all set up for doing the live stream tonight, getting the cameras set up and all that kind of stuff, prepping the models and all of that bits and pieces. I picked them up from nursery, took them to the park after nursery for a little bit while my wife was working at home, kind of played in the house with them for a bit, and then when my wife finished work, it meant I could kind of come and crack on and do some more work in here as well. And it's just like, I don't know how we'd have coped, really, the two of us both doing the job that we used to do. Like me doing the job I used to do, plus my wife doing her full-time job. I don't know how we'd have coped this last 12 months. And then we've got things like we've got the summer holidays coming up. Like, I don't know what we'd have done like over the summer holidays. And now because the school he's going to, because he starts school in September full-time. He's been at nursery for the last year break, but he goes to nursery at the school, like where he's going to go to. We just found out today that they've now got 7 weeks holiday in the summer rather than 6, because they're using the first week as like inset days for teacher training. so now he's going to be off for 7 weeks instead of 6 weeks. I don't know how folks cope with it, to be honest. Like when he used to be in nursery previously, he used to be in like it was a nursery that we paid for. I think we used to pay something like about £850 a month. We used to pay for his nursery. And he basically went from like 7:30 in the morning till like 6 o'clock at night. So it meant we could like both have our day at work and stuff like that. I just don't know what we'd have done in the summer, really. And we always kind of knew at some point we'd get to a point where we'd go to school and stuff. And so it was part of the plan of me going full time, was like, well, as long as I can be flexible around the hours I work, kind of thing, then it means I can kind of look after him and stuff. So yeah, I don't know how working parents do it. They must have really kind family members looking after them or something like that. So my hat off to you. Jez is saying, what was it? Yeah, Jez says, Crooked Dice do minis too, but you can use what you want. In this case, it's a fantasy film and TV trope. So I've ordered it with wages from the fantasy TV show I'm working on. All a bit of Inception. Nice, mate. I wasn't sure whether Crooked Dice actually did the minis too, or if somebody else did them and they kind of recommended them or something like that. Well, that's good, mate. Tony says we get ups and downs. Oh, sorry, yeah. Blizzard said, I'm thinking when I get Mr. Ears painting in purple. Purple skin, mate, or purple sort of cloth and things. Johnson, France are winning as it stands where against Portugal. Do you know what it is? I think Portugal's the one I don't really fancy, if I'm completely honest. I think France, it might be topping the table, but I don't think they've been amazing. Like they haven't scored a lot. I don't mind Hungary, and I don't think I mind Germany either. But I think Portugal are probably the better team in that one at the minute. Kodas is saying more excited about the Mantic stream than the Warhammer Plus stuff today. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to see the Mantic stuff at the weekend. It's my brother-in-law's birthday, and we're having a bit of a. Well, we do this every year anyway. We normally go to the races, Newcastle races, because there is the Northumberland Plate, which is like a kind of like a horse race. Is at Newcastle Racecourse. So we normally go to the races for his birthday every year. But obviously the last kind of few years, we've got little ones and things now. So what we do is we go over, we have a barbecue in the garden. It's always nice weather, luckily. And we kind of like, we watch the horse racing on TV and stuff with the kids, and we have a little cheeky bet like on an app or something like that. And we make a bit of a day of it. So that's the plan this year. We're doing the same thing again, going over on Saturday and doing that. So unfortunately, it'll be a little bit bad-mannered for me to disappear for a couple of hours and watch the Mantic stream, although I am really interested in it. And I know you're saying there it's more interesting than the Warhammer Plus stuff. I didn't watch the Warhammer Plus stuff, if I'm perfectly honest. I'm not a huge like sort of lover of their games and stuff. I appreciate that they're very, very good. Like sort of, they're a hell of a business and they know exactly what they're doing. And I think it's testament to how much they've grown as a business and how much the hobby has grown over the last couple of years that they can even think about doing something like they're doing. And you know what they say, the old phrase about a rising tide lifts all ships, if you like. I think it's a really positive thing, and as I said before, I think it's absolutely fantastic value if you're a Warhammer fan. I'm just not really, so it's not something I'll be spending the money on. But yeah, if you're somebody that already kind of subscribes to the app or anything like that, or you maybe you pay to subscribe to the Warhammer TV on Twitch or something like that, I think this is going to be right up your street kind of thing. But yeah, I think it's good that they're doing it. I think it's just, like I say, it just shows how far the hobby's come and Warhammer's influences now. That exactly the kind of stuff that they're doing. Tony says, you seem a lot happier in yourself now, which is lovely to see. Thanks, mate. I genuinely feel happier. It just gives me more time to enjoy my hobby, to kind of put time into the stream and stuff. But yeah, the biggest thing is I get to spend time with the family. I'm not traveling as much as I used to. My wife's not obviously traveling as much because of what's happened in the last 12 months as well. So it just gives us more time as a family, really, and can't really put a price on that. When he says Battle of the Planets, other than that, I couldn't see it. Yeah, it's definitely got I think it's the colourfulness of it and stuff like that. It's definitely got that feel about it, but there is definitely. I don't think it's kind of like a racing game, but I get the feeling it's some kind of like drafting of like battling. It wouldn't surprise me if it's on a board again. If it's on hexes like Dread Ball, I'd love to see kind of exploding dice again, and that's a mechanic that we see quite often through Mantic games. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to find out what it is. That's for sure. So yeah, I might have my phone on cheeky in the background having a look to see what it is, or you lot can keep me up to date in the Discord. Let me know what's happening. But yeah, I can't imagine I'm going to be able to sit and watch the whole thing. I might be just popping my head in to try and see what the Overdrive bit's about and catching up with the rest the next day. Peter says, if you watch BlackJack Legacy vids from a year and more ago, he looks older than he does now. I was probably a bit thinner, mate. I could do with losing a little bit of weight, I think, but yeah, I'm certainly a lot more chilled, a lot more relaxed. That's for darn sure. Fur and skin. Oh, fur and skin, yeah, for the colour of the purple. Yeah, I can see how purple would work, mate. I can see how it would work. Right, let's these around. Put a little bit of the brass on the goggles there, and I think we're gonna give them a little bit of a glow to match the weapon as well. He says, one quiet breathing in while I do them little bits. So right, I think I'll leave the weapon for now until I can kind of. I'm not sure what colour I want it to be yet. I don't want it all just kind of blend in with the metallics on the armour and stuff like that. I think we'll leave that for now, and we'll come in and do some of those. I think like the brown straps over the shoulders now. VG says, yeah, flexibility of working for yourself. Technically, I work for everyone at any time. With family arrangements can be great, but the amount of family weekends I've missed. Yeah, I guess especially with doing what you're doing, mate. Yeah, like kind of weekends is obviously your big sort of working time, if you like. And I guess that like things like events and stuff, I've not really been able to do them the last 12 months, which was always my plan to do more events. But I guess over time I will kind of do more weekend working. What was I just going to do there again? Brown. A bit of Mournfang brown, I think. So yeah, I think I'll do more weekend stuff, but at the minute it's not going to be sort of as often as obviously what you do, mate. Excuse me. I only got up as the stream started. Can anyone catch me up on the Warhammer Plus thing? So Warhammer Plus is essentially think of it like Netflix. It's like a or like Amazon Prime, something like that. And Warhammer Plus is going to be a monthly subscription. So I think it's £5.99. I forget where it is in dollars and Australian dollars. It's £5.99 per month, or you can subscribe annually for £50, $49.99. It's going to have all of the animated series things that they've been working on. It's going to have all of that on. There's going to be new stuff every week. There's going to be sort of painting tutorials. There's going to be battle reports. There's going to be like lore. I think it's called like Lore Master or something, like a lot of like background lore sort of stuff. You also get access to the Warhammer apps. So if you already pay for the is it the Azir app for Age of Sigmar or the Warhammer 40k app, the price of those is also included in this as well. It also gets you access to a back catalogue of like sort of Warhammer sort of White Dwarfs and some of the like the books and things, so Warhammer books, not the Black Library stuff I don't believe, but like things, you know, like some of the AOS books and things that have come out. It gets you access to some of the back catalogue of those. And if you subscribe after you've been subscribed for 12 months, you get a free miniature as well. So if you sign up for 50 quid, you're basically, in a year's time, you'll get a free miniature. And if you already subscribe to like one of the 40k app or the AOS app, you're essentially kind of saving some money, really. So like I say, if you're into Warhammer games, it really is good value. But if you're not, then obviously it doesn't bother you one way or another, does it? But for me, I don't think I wouldn't watch it enough to spend the kind of £5 or £6 a month or whatever. But yeah, if you're a fan, fantastic value, I think. Andy Smith, hello fella, how are you doing? Hope you're fitting well. Getting some of these bits in. John says, I'm at a picnic at the big boss's house, so I'll need to catch the Mantic deal. That feels weird, mate, because I know obviously what your job is. I'm considering who the big boss is, and I'm sure your big boss is not the big boss that I'm thinking of. But yes, enjoy your picnic, mate. Yeah, I think this is just what happens in the summer, mate, isn't it? I mean, like I said before, but earlier about sort of views go down, live stream attendance goes down, all of those kind of things. It's just nice weather, loads of events, things opening up now. People are like, and I think it'll be a similar thing for Mantic as well. But yeah, it'll be interesting to catch up on it later and watch it back. It's going to be on YouTube, so it'll be available to watch afterwards. So whilst I would love to know the second it goes live, I'm not going to kind of miss the family barbecue for it. So Christian saying, grab your OG t-shirts and hoodies. Thank you very much for sharing the link, buddy. Really appreciate it. Could you do me a favour, folks, actually? Even if you have no intention of ever buying a t-shirt, would you be able to click the link for me so I can just see what it does, see if it's tracking the clicks? Because it seems like sometimes I get like no clicks at all, and then other times I get a bit of a surge. So I'm just wondering if it's actually tracking the traffic properly. So if you could just, you don't have to do it now after the stream or anything like that, but yeah, if you can click the link just so I can see if the links are tracking and stuff like that, make sure I'm giving Christian the right links and things. Thank you very much, folks. Portugal level, yeah. Tony says, not seeing the Warhammer Plus stuff. I take it GW is just another crack supplier these days. And painting hobby type. Do you know what it is? I think since I decided, I think I mentioned it on a live stream a while ago that basically, like, I've got nothing against Games Workshop as a company. I think they make fantastic stuff, but I think I just kind of come to terms with the fact that it's not really for me. It's not really aimed at me at the kind of games I like to play. I'm not a sort of huge, I think, like, outside of Warcry basically, and probably Blitzball, there's nothing I really kind of enjoy playing from GW these days. And I think it's weird once you get that in your head. It's amazing how much, like, you just stop looking at what they do, and And I appreciate, I do have to kind of still keep my finger on the pulse and things like that, because it's my job and they're the big guy in the industry, and it's always worth kind of seeing what they're doing. But I don't feel any pull to the kind of like the hype from them these days. And I think I just, because of that, Facebook doesn't kind of show me all the kind of the Warhammer groups that I'm a member of. It's not kind of showing me that stuff because I'm not clicking on them. So that's kind of eased right off. I've kind of scrolled past the stuff on Twitter, because obviously there's been a lot of stuff about Dominion and stuff like that, the new EOS 3. Just kind of scrolled past it. It's amazing how quickly you can kind of get out of that sort of constant feed of GW stuff by just avoiding it for a little while. It's weird. VGC, that mean you get access to core rulebooks and codexes? No, mate, you do not. You don't get access to any of that stuff. It's things like the it was a very quick kind of picture that they showed, and I saw things like some of the old AOS kind of like I don't even know if they're cast as like storybooks or what. Like there was some like narrative type stuff, I think. But yeah, no codexes, core rules, no, not at all. I would imagine it'll still work that if you buy the codex, you get access to it digitally through the app, the same way you do now. But no, they're not going to give up that. They're not going to give up that money train, mate. Oh, everybody's saying click. Thank you very much. It's just so I can see if it works, and I thank you. Stu saying the core rules, yes. The core rules are already kind of free, though. They're free, like whether you subscribe or not. But you don't get any of the. Yeah, you don't get any of the new ones. No. John says that would be his boss. I hope it's a long time until I share a picnic with him. Yes, mate. Me and you both, mate. I'm with you on that one. I hope that's not something that we have to look forward to too soon. But it sounds like you'll. Sounds like the work picnic, mate. I would love to hear from you afterwards, just to see what it's like. Because I have no kind of concept of how the church would work as a place to work, as opposed to being like somebody that attends church. Like, I'm assuming your office parties are not like office parties that I've been to. Let's put it that way. It's just it's a whole different world that I have no kind of concept of to even think like, well, what would it be like? Like, what's it like working in? I don't even want to say like an industry. It's not like an industry, is it? It's a weird thing to kind of not to talk about. But I don't even know how to kind of like sort of how do you even like got to categorize it? I don't really know. Carlos, hello. He says, regards from Mexico. I painted my dystopian wars since I saw your videos. Thank you very much, man. I'm hoping that they helped. I hope they kind of pointed you in the right direction and helped you paint them. Welcome to the chat this evening. We've got a little bit of a Wild West Exodus on the table tonight, or Lost World Exodus, depending upon what you decide to play. I'm still looking forward to find out more about Lost World Exodus. I love the idea of the background lore and stuff, but it feels like we've been waiting for the game forever. Who says that invest some of the subscription money in improving the app? Do you know what I mean? I'm surprised it's the price it is, but then I guess when you've got things like Netflix and stuff like that, I understand why it's not more expensive. But yeah, it's a shame because I mean I've got no idea how much they make from codexes and stuff like that. But if they included all of the codex, if they doubled the subscription and it included all of the rule books and the codexes, I wonder if that financially would like sort of be beneficial to them. I've got no idea how much money they make from books, but you have to kind of factor in the printing costs and stuff as well. It can't be cheap to be be printing. So, and then being able to kind of like update them with FAQs and stuff like instantly, which I know they don't do with the digital copies now. That would kind of make it a bit more appealing to folks, I think. But I guess people will just sign up. 1, because it's Games Workshop, and 2, you get a free model, and 3, because they want to see the animation stuff. So yeah, like I say, I think it's fantastic value if you're a fan. John says this is a family of clergy picnic, so should be sedate. Looking at the weather report, mate, I think you're going to have a nice weekend for it. So, and according to the weather reports today, we've got a few weeks of a heat wave coming, so it looks like we're going to be set for a bit of a nice summer. Get into these parts here down the side of these straps. Yeah, I missed any bits here. A little bit more around these shoulder straps here. Try and tilt it and keep it on camera at the same time. Oh, I think I'm just about to pull it off the stand there. John says the odd thing is that I get given money so I don't have to work. It's still taxed, but it's not paid. There's so much that's different with this as a job. It must be weird, mate. It must be weird, because am I right in thinking that if something's classed as a religion, it's not taxed? Like, I don't think the church is taxed. I don't think, unless I've completely missed that one. But it's weird that you still pay a tax as an employee, if you like. I guess it's to stop any weird loopholes, I guess. Jess says I don't play any GW games. I follow a few GW lore channels, buy occasional minis, but not really a fan of their rules. Hype free. Yeah, it's kind of, I'm surprised with how quickly like the internet has stopped kind of like trying to show me all their stuff. You can be sure now I've kind of clicked to find out a little bit about this Warhammer Plus thing, though. You'll be sure they'll be starting to push it back in front of me again now. Right, let's get a bit of a darker grey going, and we'll get in and paint up some of that fur and things. So we'll go with, I think we'll go with a bit of, will we go with that? Oh, go something. Which way to go with? I think we will go with this. No, we'll not. We'll go with the big blue. Too many greys. Let's go with an Eshin grey. And we'll use that one, I think. Right. John says, churches are charities, so we don't pay tax and can reclaim it. That's what I thought it was. They class as a charity. That's what I was thinking. And reclaim gift aid, it means we pay VAT on building projects. Wow. It sounds complicated. It sounds like you almost need to be business managers as well as clergy. VJ saying, yeah, okay, without all the current rules, I can see it being. Without all the current rules, I can't see it being that good value for me. I'm not really interested in the animations. Yeah, I mean, me either, to be fair. Like, it's one of those things where I would potentially pay for 1 month just to kind of binge watch a few things. But yeah, I'm not going to be subscribing to it. To be honest, I'm getting more out of my Disney Plus subscription at the minute. I'm loving Loki at the moment. And I'm catching up on some of the older stuff that I've not seen as well. Things like, I haven't seen all of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or Agent Carter. I haven't seen Inhumans. I haven't seen... What's the one with the kids in as well? I forget what that's called. I haven't seen that one either. So yeah, I'm enjoying my Disney Plus subscription at the minute. He says we'll watch the hype video though. Maybe once I'm playing the games again. Yeah, like I say, if you're playing the games, mate, or you're really involved in the kind of like the lore in the background, I do think it's good value. I think they've put together a really good package. Yeah, it just doesn't really scratch my itch, if you like. Jill Monroe, good evening, Jill. How the devil are you? I hope your neighbours have had no more late night parties and you're managing to get a bit of sleep and the hay fever's died down. Hope you're well, my friend. So yeah, Mr. Ears is who we've got on the table this evening, for those that don't know who it is. This is a resin model, for those wondering if it's plastic or metal or whatever. It is a resin model. But it is absolutely fantastic quality. As I have found with all of the War Cradle resins. Right, so what I'm doing is I'm coming in with the Eshin Grey here, and I'm picking out some of the kind of fur parts, and then I think what we'll do is we'll come in with a bit of a Nuln Oil wash and kind of just give them a bit of a depth, and then we'll lighten the grey up and highlight some of the flesh areas and do it that way. Ah, yes. Actually, I did see you being awake since 3 AM because you were recommending the oh, what was it? It was the on tabletop video with I forget what he's called now, the games designer. Yeah, I did read that bit actually. I kind of, when I was having my morning coffee this morning, I was kind of very quickly reading through some of the stuff, and I forgot it was you that had said that. Sorry, Jill. Well, I hope you have a better sleep tonight then, put it that way. Right, I don't think this grey is quite dark enough. Well, we are going to have to come in and give it a bit of a wash, I think, just to give it some depth. Jill says it's another stunning model. My eyes are too tight to paint. Do you know what it is? I can't paint when my eyes are sore either. You said, are you still using the Amazon brushes? This is them, mate. Yeah, these are the Amazon brushes, mate. These are Rock Ninja ones. Yeah, I'm still using them, mate. I just received them today. Not used them yet, but they look good for money. Honestly, do you know what it is, mate? I almost just, find like I kind of just go and pick them up. Like I've got like Artis Opus brushes here. I've got Winsor & Newton brushes. I just find myself just keep going back to these, to be honest. I'll probably be tempted. They certainly won't last as long, and sometimes they get a little bit like of a hook tip on them, but you can clean them and get it back again. But I just find them good enough. Like my painting isn't of a standard where I'm kind of stressing about fine details, and I find these good enough, if I'm honest. If anybody's wondering what brushes they are, if you actually click the link underneath this video, there is a link to Amazon. You shop through my affiliate link, I make a small commission, and I think it's linked to the brushes that I'm using. Actually, I think that's the link that I set up. I set the Amazon link up. But yeah, if you're wondering what the brushes are, those are the ones. Okay. Right. We'll let that dry a little bit. We've still got some little stuff to do around here. Haven't quite decided how I'm going to do that yet. I think there's a little bit of metallic I've missed there as well. Let me just the brass. Where did I put the brass back? Good. Mark Latham, yeah, that's the one. Do you know what? Mark Latham's a really nice guy. I really like him as a person. But some of the games he's designed, like I wouldn't say I always like the games that he designs. So for example, I love The Walking Dead, which he did, but then he also did like the Harry Potter game as well, which is not great. So some folks, when they design a game, I instantly go, oh yeah, if they've designed it, I'm probably going to like this. But it's been a bit of a mixed bag for him, and it potentially is more to do with the companies that he's working with, like the stuff that he's done for Mantic. I really like. But yeah, I mean, he's a nice guy, really nice guy. I've met him a couple of times. He actually did some of the play testing for Walking Dead Walking Dead Call to Arms. It was actually my suggestion that they use the dice mechanic from Vanguard for that game. it wasn't like that in the original rules. And when we were doing the player test, I said if you did it this way, it would make more sense. So I had a very small, kind of idea for that game. But yeah, like I say, I've met him a couple of times, and really nice guy. Juicy says they came with a case. Mine didn't come with a case actually, mate. It came just like on a piece of cardboard with some just with like elastic holding them in place. But to be fair, I throw them straight into my pots and stuff anyway, so that's not so much an issue for me. Set the compressor. Is it really set the compressor? I'll have to double check that one now. It wasn't the other day when I looked. Bill says, yeah, I find that with several designers. Alessio, for example, the interview was interesting, but just the behind the scenes chat about how old JW used to run. I went for like a day at Riverhorse to do some work with Riverhorse a long time ago, and Alessio took me for lunch. We didn't go anywhere fancy, we went to Burger King. But it was quite nice just kind of sitting having a chat with him, and it was definitely interesting to kind of hear about how things have changed over the years, and kind of how not how he left JW, but why he left. And obviously I'm not going to talk about it now because I have no idea whether what he told me is kind of common knowledge or anything like that, but it was just really interesting to hear from him. Somebody that I kind of admired as working on such like Bolt Action and Kings of War, as well as these days within Games Workshop. So yeah, it is interesting to hear those kind of how things have changed. I mean, things do change; they have to move on and things, and different ways of doing things these days. Business has changed, the gaming industry's changed. I get it, but it is interesting to hear from the kind of folks that were there when it was really in growth. I mean, it's in growth now, but you know what I mean. When it was first kind of sort of really emerging. I'm just randomly just picking out bits really out because I think we'll do some silvers on this as well, or maybe some brass. Kodo says Warhammer Plus charge a ridiculous price for a bad app. Add a service to the app with stuff that should be free while removing ebooks from the store. Yeah, I don't know much about the apps, mate, to be honest. Like I say, I don't play their games, so I've got no idea about the apps themselves, but there seem to be plenty of people already subscribed to them. So if you're already subscribing, you're basically going to get exactly what you get now, plus a lot more for the same price, or for potentially for even cheaper, I don't know. So yeah, that's all I meant by it. I've no idea whether the stuff that they provide currently is good value or not. We're here. Christian sharing the link for the merch, for the new stuff as well, for the caps and the boot bags and the hoodies, all that kind of malarkey. Thank you very much, Chris. Oops. Moose Eaton, good morning, sir. He says, I thought I'd put you on in the car so your soothing tones can distress me in my way to work. Start the day off right the BlackJack way. There you go, mate. I hope you're doing well. Have a good day at work. Take care, my friend. Don't work too hard, and get home and see the family as quick as you can. Carlos says, if the truth is your videos motivated me to start painting and they were not bad at all. Right now I'm painting Onitama. It's from a board game. I do know that board game, mate. I'm glad that. I mean, my painting is not going to win any awards, but it's not meant to. I mean, it's meant to show people that, like, everybody paint. You paint to your standard. You paint for your own enjoyment. Like, it's your hobby. You're supposed to enjoy it. And I want to show that you don't always have to follow these, like, sort of super detailed kind of fancy sort of how to wet blend with 3 brushes and all that kind of stuff. You can do if you're trying to kind of improve and get to the next level. But if you're just somebody that paints just to get it on the tabletop, or somebody that's just starting out, there's no pressure in painting. It's just meant to be a nice, relaxing hobby. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoy it, mate. BG, so many highs but the lows. I'm still not that sure what involvement he had in that game, mate. I don't necessarily think he wrote that game, if I'm honest. Sometimes I don't even know if he played it. Jill says, it's the same reason I like watching no-clip documentaries on video games. I think I know the no-clip ones. I think I watched the one about Half-Life. I think I watched that one. Peter says his cap arrived on Tuesday. Are you happy with the quality, mate? Is it okay? I hope you like it. Peter saying, yeah, 3rd dry brush with another different red on those blood letters. Ultra exciting stuff. V saying, frankly, when it comes to Warhammer Plus, it's GW, so the fans are going to mourn no matter what they do. Yeah, you're not wrong about that, fella. You're not wrong about that at all. Everyone likes to find something to complain about. That's why I say, like, it's not for me. I'm not the target market for it. However, as somebody kind of completely sort of unbiased, if you like, just looking at it purely for what it is versus what you get for your money, I think it's fantastic value. But it's only fantastic value if you're going to enjoy that stuff. It's not like the stuff that's in it's really good, but it's a bit overpriced. But I think it's actually probably one of the best value things GW do. But I'm just not target market. Right, I think that we'll get that the bit of wash in there now as well. Andrew says, bull hunky. Nobody complains about a G2 point line. Lions down, Lions statistics. Hello, Andrew. How are you doing? Right, bit of Nuln oil. Peter says, yes, happy with the cap. Good value and looks great. I'm glad you like it, mate. Does seem good quality, doesn't it? The quality of the stitching and stuff. I'm really happy with. Certainly be wearing mine this summer. Right, let's get a bit of. So I'm just getting some Nuln oil now, and I'm coming in and just where I've got the fur, just to give it a little bit more depth. Add to it a bit. Running out of Nuln oil. Actually, I'm gonna have to buy some more. In a little while, I thought I'd buy paints. There, around the feet as well. We'll be highlighting up all this stitching as well at some point. Around here. So yeah, like I said before, tomorrow we should have another video up as well. Just got to do the thumbnail for it, but it's all edited and uploaded to YouTube. So that is the studio tour. So if you're keen to see behind the scenes of what have I been doing for the last sort of 3 or 4 months and getting everything ready in here and why the set's changed and what it looks like now, what it looks like kind of behind the scenes, the bit that you never see, that will be coming up tomorrow. And yeah, I'm starting to kind of get back into the flow of stuff now. If you haven't seen this week already, a little while ago on a hobby hangout, I did the uncertain scenery sort of modular game boards. I finished building all of those, and I did a bit of a review of them this week. So if you've not seen that, please do check it out. If you haven't seen last week's video as well, this is the one I did about Marvel Crisis Protocol and the 5 reasons I was wrong about it. I'm really enjoying the game, and I'm kind of using that as a bit of a hobby game, really, something that I just paint and play for fun rather than for content. So yeah, check them out, folks. Andrew says, good afternoon. Missed you on Monday. Need to pick me up, even though it was just a hobby hangout. Well, I hope you will, mate. I hope it's nothing too serious that you need a bit of a pick up from. As I said at the start, mate, you just missed it. I'd been away with the family at the weekend. We'd gone away on Friday. We got back sort of just after lunch on Monday. I had a million things to do in the afternoon, kind of sorting out the little one and sort of bits and pieces that I needed to sort after a weekend away. And I was tired. I had a bit of a bloody weekend, if I'm completely honest, as well. Late nights and early mornings, I was quite tired, and I was struggling to come up with a good topic. I was struggling to come up with an idea for what I wanted to talk about for Monday. I thought rather than just sort of talking crap for a couple of hours and not really putting in the right amount of effort that I should do for these streams, it was better to can that really, and do a better job next week. So that was why I canned Mondays. I just didn't want to kind of half-arse it really, if I'm being perfectly honest. And that's exactly how I felt. I didn't feel like I had the energy after the weekend. So yeah. But as you can tell, I'm a bit more awake now. A little bit into the muscle tone and stuff, just darting down some of those areas. Yeah. Oops. On the mouth there as well, and nostrils. Right, we'll let that dry for 5 minutes, I think. It says yes, the game boards with the Fat Boy lean. The Fat Boy lean. Jill says totally understandable. You're allowed a holiday. Yeah, I honestly when I was going away, I didn't expect to be quite so tired as when I got back, if I'm perfectly honest. So I could have still done the stream, but I don't think I would have done it justice. And what I didn't want to do was to kind of just do a stream where people were thinking, oh god, like it's not exactly very exciting to do. I won't get that top back on properly. Just, you know, when the GW pots go a little bit past the bit that's meant to hold the lid up. This is the bit where I end up spilling it now, isn't it? Trying to fix that lid. John says Germany have drawn with Hungary, so unless Portugal score, we've got Germany. I'm not upset by that, mate, if I'm honest. I don't think they've had a great tournament. I'd have been more worried about getting Portugal, I think. I'm actually quietly confident about England. I feel like they're just, I mean, they're not playing fantastic, but I feel like they're kind of just quietly going about their business. Like they're being quite professional. They're not panicking. They're defending pretty well. I don't think we'll win it, but I think we could do all right actually. Fat Boy Lean, the designer mentioned it. The reinforced inside. Oh, that's right, it was the little circle on the bottom. That was it. I remember now, mate. That's a good memory you've got. BJ says the best holidays are the ones you come back and need a holiday. Yeah, it was like we were kind of we had sort of two apartments next to each other. They had their little ones. We had our little ones. So by the time the little ones were getting to bed on a night time, the way the apartments were was we had upstairs ones, and there was a bit of a kind of like a little corridor. So you went through a door, you went up some stairs, and then one apartment was on the left, the other apartment was on the right. So if we both opened our front doors, it was almost like we had one big kind of joined apartment. We get the little ones down to sleep, and then prop the two doors open, and then they would come and kind of like sit in our like living room area where they could see straight across into their apartment, keep an eye on the kids and stuff. And it was like all kind of like self-contained. Then we ended up like sitting up late, kind of catching up and having a few beers and some wines and stuff like that. And we ended up with a few late nights. And then obviously the little ones were up early the next morning, so it was quite tiring. Ian says, "How are you all, better late than never? Don't be too hard on yourself." Cheers, mate. VG says, oh, how I miss travelling overseas. Me too, mate. I can't wait to get overseas. When I said it, I mean, we were literally at a holiday camp in the UK. It was not glamorous. It was not a fancy place at all. I really kind of, we can't travel overseas either. I mean, I can't wait to get overseas. Jill said, you lot drew with us. You can't crow about your tournament this time. I never really crow about England. I mean, I think we always flatter to deceive, I think, a little bit. But this time I just feel like we haven't conceded. We've looked pretty decent at the back. We could do with a bit more firepower going forward, I think, but that might just kind of develop as the tournament goes on. I feel like we've just done enough, and sometimes that's how you win these tournaments. Strangely, you don't there's no point going out winning 5-0 in your first game and then basically getting beaten the next round because your defense is wide open. I feel like we might do okay. But yeah, I think I'd like to play. Germany or France, I'd have preferred in the next round rather than Portugal, I think. So let us try a little bit. I think I'll come in with some of the silver now. We'll go with a darker silver, I think. So I think we'll come in with the lead belcher. Christian's sharing the link there as well for Goblin Gaming. Thank you, fella. How are you doing, Christian, anyway, mate? How's life treating you at the moment? Right. Don't forget, I'm not on that screen now. Let me get that screen up. I was going to let it dry for a bit. So, putting some silver into these, I think now. We'll tidy up and stuff. Jill saying, yeah, getting through the group stage. Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think I know we're talking sport and it's not everybody's kind of cup of tea, but I'm going to talk about it for a little bit. I think that the England team are getting a bit of pressure and a bit of flack from fans and from the press, like they always do in the UK or in England specifically. Because I think everybody expects them to kind of coast through it, we've got a Premier League, how good it is, and all this kind of stuff, and how well paid everybody is. I think everybody expects us to kind of coast through 3-0 in every game, and tournament football's not like that. You need to do what you need to do to get through, and I think we topped the group. We didn't concede a goal. We didn't get. We never lost a game. I don't think you can really ask for more than that. I think what's that? A France topped the group. I think it is for their group. I think they've drawn 2 and won 1 or something like that. They've not exactly set the world alight, but nobody's really talking about France like that. Christian saying, not too bad, thanks. Works good. Friends are awesome. Can't complain. Right, I tell you what, mate. I love that attitude. Works good, friends are awesome. Nice one. Blizzard. Oh, sorry. Andrew says we beat Mexico for a meaningful first time in 15 years. Well, there you go, mate. There you go. Mexico's never been a bad side, however. They've always been pretty decent. Blizzard says, you have all the God tier boosters now, or still missing some? I'm missing quite a few now, mate, because I think from after the one with the dragons came out, I forget what she's called now. He's behind me. After that one came out, I haven't kept up with them. So I just wasn't playing enough games, and I haven't painted the ones I've got. So I've kind of held off buying any more. So I'm probably about 4, maybe 5 boosters behind. But I do have all the other ones. I have all the original ones. So I'll probably catch up at some point, but I do like the game. I just wasn't getting a chance to play it through lockdown and stuff, so it seemed a bit pointless just buying more stuff to sit on the shelf with the stuff that was already sitting on the shelf. Peter says, honestly, Belgium's last game was pretty boring as well, but the result is there, so can't complain. Belgium and Holland, I think, are the two teams they won their opening 3 matches, and I think that can't ask for more than that really. But I kind of got the impression with England, I don't think we've looked bad. I think we've looked a bit slow at times. and I think we looked like we didn't really create many chances at times. But I never felt like they were under pressure, and that's unusual. That's unusual for England. So I don't know. I'm just getting some false hope or what, but they just seem to take it all in their stride. We'll see next week. That'll be the test. Up against one of the big boys. Watch us if we win the next game. No matter how well or how bad they play, then it'll be kind of everybody will get their hopes up and stuff. Oh, saying, oh, we beat whoever, Germany, whatever it is. Then it'll be a different story. People won't be caring about how they win or how they play anymore after that. It's coming home. John said Portugal have finished, so we've definitely got Germany. It should be an exciting match. I found the matches so far dull. Do you know what it is, mate? I watched the Wales game against, who was it again? The last game on Sunday. I watched the Wales game, and Wales played pretty good. They played all right. I unfortunately watched the Denmark game where Christian Eriksen collapsed as well, and honestly, I could feel myself kind of welling up watching it. I honestly thought I'd watched somebody collapse and die on the pitch in that game. It was awful. And I'm really glad to hear he's kind of safe and well now. But I've not really watched a lot. I've not really kind of been that interested in the whole tournament. I just like watching the England games really, so I cannot really say about how the tournament's been as a whole. Right, we'll get some of that in. Tom Moss says, will you be talking about Walking Dead Call to Arms at any point? I'm not really sure, mate, if I'm honest, and I'll tell you why. I really like Walking Dead All Out War. I like the kind of narrative aspect to it. I like the way the game works. I like the way the game plays. And I personally, at the time, didn't feel that Walking Dead needed Call to Arms. I liked it how it was. And it felt like it was designed for a competitive kind of market, if you like. However, I felt more like it kind of split the player base a little bit. So people like sort of chose to play one version or the other. So it's not something I've played a lot of, if I'm honest. So I don't even have the Call to Arms rulebook. I got a PDF of it when I was looking at it for Mantic. So I've got but I don't even know if it's the latest rules or anything like that now. But yeah, I'll be honest, I've not played it outside of the player testing that I did. I enjoy Walking Dead as it is. Need exploding eights, yeah, you're right. Tom Peter saying, have you seen the new Walking Dead stuff yet? I've seen the pictures, mate. I've seen the Angel Heraldez painted stuff, which looks absolutely amazing, mate. But I've not seen it up close or anything like that. I've not been sent any or any of that kind of stuff, so I don't know any of the details about it. Yeah, I saw the stuff online. Jill saying, right, I'm off. Enjoy the rest of the stream, folks. Have a good sleep. As I said, I've been holding off till they drop in price on Amazon. Oh, the what do you call the ones, mate? The expansions. Yeah, I think the game's great. I've got enough for how often I've been able to play it. I've got more than enough, mate, at the minute. I'll catch up at some point, I think. Cypher says, would you please elaborate on your brushes? So these brushes, mate, are basically very, very cheap brushes from Amazon. I think they're synthetic brushes. I think I paid something like about, was it like £8 or £9 or something for like a pack of, what have I got there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 9 brushes in various sizes. And they're just, I mean, you can see they've kind of, I don't worry about using metallics with them. I don't mind about using washes with them. I use brush soap to clean them out, and they've been fine. They've been pretty good. I'll see if I can find a link to them at some point. and show them. So yeah, they've been pretty good. Andrew saying Mexico's a good side. Their fans are the trashiest, yelling a lot of Spanish slurs. Not that I have any ground to stand on as an LSU fan. I obviously don't really know that side about it. We don't really have obviously much to do with Mexican fans, but over here in the UK. But I also don't speak Spanish, so I wouldn't know that's what they were saying. Lucy saying BBC got some flack for that. A lot of people were saying they should have cut back the studio. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it was a weird situation, and I guess they definitely should have cut back to the studio earlier. The actual footage themselves, what they were showing, wasn't their footage. Basically, what happens is the TV companies basically just get a stream from UEFA that they show in their country, and they can cut back to the studio at any point they want to. However, I guess at that point it was quite difficult to understand what was going on. And I'll be honest, I talked about this with my wife afterwards, and I said it was horrific what I was watching, but I couldn't turn away. I wanted to see the guy get up. I wanted to know he was okay, kind of thing. And I was kind of watching to see him. It wasn't like a kind of like one of those car crash moments where you can't turn away. I couldn't take my eyes off it because I wanted to see him get up and be well, if you like. So I guess it's one of those things with hindsight. Yeah, they definitely shouldn't have shown as much as they did. However, I guess it's almost unprecedented, really. I don't think it's never really happened before. Yeah, with hindsight, it's a bit insensitive. Cypher says, "Oh, I love the stands in the case." Yes. Peter says, "I think I got the same brushes, better than what I've been using. The tip makes control detail much better." I'm amazed with how good the quality of the tips of the brushes are, if I'm honest. I never expected them. I literally bought them as a bit of an experiment to see, like, because I've never really understand, do cheap brushes just last not as long because people don't really look after them? Whereas when you've spent a bit of money, like sort of decent money on a set of brushes, the people like look after them because they're expensive brushes. So I thought I'm going to buy some cheap brushes and I'm going to like treat them as if they're expensive ones and use brush soap and wash them out and stuff. And they've been, to be honest, they've been as good as, if not better than, some of the really expensive ones. I do quite like my Winsor & Newton ones. But I'll be honest, the Artist Opus ones, they're nice. They're good brushes, but I'm not sure they're worth the money. I mean, they come in a nice case and stuff like that, and they came with brush soap as well. So they are nice brushes, but for me, for your average painter, if you like, for the average person on the street, I'm not sure that I'm not sure it's worth the extra money, if I'm perfectly honest. Right. So yeah, I mean, let me show you the brushes. So let me show you what I've got in this set. If I think they're all here. So some of them I've been using a bit more rough than others, but so basically this is what I got. There is size 4, 5. There's a size 2. So I think size 6 is the biggest. There's a 3 and a 1, and I think the smallest is a 000. So there's a 0, a 00, and a 000. And some of them, I mean, I think that one there I've been using mainly for like washes and stuff. It's got a little bit like bent out of shape and stuff. But I mean, like there's a size 1. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with them. It seems to be pretty good. That's the size 0 one. It's kept its tip. They seem just decent brushes. In fact, the size 0 one, I think I'll oops. The size 0 one, I think back in there. I've used them for doing the bits of stitches and stuff now. Yeah, been watching and learning everyone's tips, tricks for airbrush cleaning and storing. Yeah. Andrew says, you're asking guys who just watch a man collapse with no known reason to stall for time. It's torture in itself. Yeah, it's kinda. Well, the problem is you can't cut for commercial breaks. There isn't any commercials on BBC in the UK, so it's a fun. We pay a license fee every year for the BBC basically, and there are no commercials. So it's not quite as easy as it might seem, actually, that one. Let's pour a little bit of grace here, and we'll pick out the stitching. There we go then, mate. John said, I looked up Mr. Ayers. He was Mr. Ayers, and he had an accident. The only way to keep his brain alive was a transplant to a gorilla, and the president got his name wrong when giving him an award for bravery. There you go then, mate. What a good story. Scouting the web, hello Lee, mate. How are you doing? He said, I prefer Windsor & Newton to Artist Opus 2. I have bought in the past the Windsor & Newton Series 7 miniatures, which have a much smaller tip, so you can see the difference and in the length of the tips of the brushes. And if I compare them to kind of an Artist Opus one, if I can find it, there's one there, just there. You can see the difference. Is this one? Actually, this is one of the short ones as well. This is the Series S. Oh no, it's Series S. Series M's the shorter ones. So that gives you a bit of an idea. They're both a size 2 brush, and it kind of shows you the difference in the length of the tips of them. So I do generally like the shorter tips on the Artist Opus one, on the what do you call the ones on the Windsor & Newtons. But yeah, these cheapy ones they're fine. This is a size 0 from those cheap ones, and I'm just gonna very gently just pick up those little stitches in the arm there. Yeah, so yeah, they do the job. You're a hobby painter as opposed to kind of somebody that's sort of trying to improve your painting or trying to win awards and all that kind of stuff. If you're a hobby painter, do get some of these. I think they're more than good enough. Yeah, we're just picking out some of that stitch work while we've got some bits drying off. Usually I've never really tried expensive brushes except at work for decorating. At the end of the day, they all end up in the bin. I mean, expensive brushes are expensive as well. If I'm completely honest, I was sent the Artist Opus brushes for free, so I personally probably wouldn't have spent the money on them. But yeah, I mean, they're good brushes. I can't say that they're bad brushes. They're just expensive brushes. Scott on the website, I got the Series D2, but not used them that much. I quite like the Series D ones, but I've got. Let me get them ones. So I got that one. That one. Where's the other ones? These ones as well. Sure. Get out my mouth. So I've got the range of the Series D ones as well. So there's a what's that one? There's an extra small, a small, medium, a large, and an extra large. And I'll be honest, I do really like, but again, they are really expensive because I also use like these cheap £1 makeup brushes as well for some of like the bigger stuff and things. And I've bought like brushes like these ones. These are Dale Rowney this is like a flat wash brush, really for like sort of acrylic oil painting and stuff like that, like acrylic and oil painting, but I use them for putting washes onto like terrain and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I do like the Artist Opus brushes, the dry brushes. I just think they're really expensive for what they are. I don't know what they're like in comparison to the Army Painter ones, which are like a cheaper version of them. I've got no idea like sort of how they compare, but I'm not sure I'd have spent the money on them myself. Derek saying, I really dislike those non-circular handles. Some people really like them. I think some people think that they're really comfy. But personally for me, I tend to get more control holding them down at the ferrule anyway, so it doesn't really bother me either way. John says the synthetic GW brush I bought has been solid, kept its point so far. We'll see how it goes. I might try, I was going to say I probably won't. I was going to say I might try them at some point, but to be perfectly honest, kind of doing alright with these super cheap ones. Like, whilst it would be nice to try them out and compare them, I'm not really sure I'd spend money on them if I'm honest, after using these cheap ones. I'm not saying they're bad brushes or anything like that, but really I've kind of found a good balance of cost and performance. Dizzy Brindles look a lot like the set I got. Mine were from a brand named Transon. Yeah, these are called Rock Ninja, these ones. Mr. Connery. Yeah, I've been happy with them so far. I maybe haven't used them that much. Usually I got the Army Painter dry brushes. They were expensive enough, but still cheaper than buying makeup ones from Mercadona. Yeah, VC, I love the triangular handles. I get more control. I always just hold them like I hold them down there, because obviously if I hold up here, I get, so if I hold it there, there's quite like there's a lot of distance from here to there. So like a small movement makes a big move if you like. So I find I hold them there, and then I like obviously I can control it with finer movements if you like. Vigi says he likes to, yeah, I got the artist dry brushes. Whatever was first. Series S were first, then Series M, then Series D's were out. Lisa, yeah, don't get me wrong, I like them. Just unsure if I'll pull off the sick blends he gets in his videos. He does make it look easy, but to be fair, Byron is a hell of a painter, and I think he would pull off sick blends with a broken stick. If I'm honest, he's just a really good painter. I mean, he does do a good job of kind of showing how to use them, but he's a good painter. Like, and I think that's half the battle as well. Yeah, that's what I was doing before I put it down. I was just picking out the teeth there. Right. Actually, wait. I'll do it off camera. I'll do it off camera. I don't want to screw that one up. Right, we'll get a little bit of a wash over some of them metallics, I think. Yeah, VG says kickstarted them both. Peter says, to be honest, I only buy a fine detail brush from the Army Painter for eyes. For the rest, I do everything with cheap brushes from Action. VG says, back when I had more money, not sure I'd buy them again. I barely used mine as they were so expensive. I don't want to ruin them. I've used my mate because, like I said, I got them for free. Basically, I got them sent to me to use and to have a look at, and they're good brushes. Like I said before, I can't say they're bad brushes. I'm just not sure that they don't make me any better. If you like, if you're a super good painter, you might find that they kind of improve your painting, or you might get more control, or whatever it is. But for me personally, they're just as good with the cheap ones. Yeah, those handles are the main reason why I got the Transon ones. A friend had a set from a different company. Got a chance to hold one and loved how it felt. A lot of the Army Painter ones come with that kind of like triangular handle, don't they? Right, a bit of Agrax wash. There's another pot that you replace soon. I've washed this brush out very well. It's still a bit green off. It's still a bit green off when I did the Hulk the other day. I must have washed it out properly. Just putting a bit of a wash over those metallics. Again, just to give it a bit of depth before I kind of dry brush with some silver and things. I like this Warplock bronze. It's got a really nice kind of coverage to it and a nice colour. And when you put a wash over the top, it really kind of, it just makes it look like old and a bit tarnished and stuff. It always seems to come out quite nice. John says 60 quid for a set of dry brushes beyond my budget. Yeah, it's a lot of money, mate, isn't it? I didn't realise that was the price, if I'm honest. I see how they were sent to me a long time ago when they were first on Kickstarter. So I use them, and I do like them. But if they wear out, I'm not sure I'll replace them just purely for the price. It is a lot of money. 60 quid buys you a lot of paint or miniatures, doesn't it? Well, it might not buy you a lot of miniatures, but it certainly buys you miniatures. Usually says super good painters could use a kebab skewer and it would still look good. That's kind of how I feel. I mean, I do. I think if you've got brush control, you can probably use pretty much anything. Like a lot of like really good painters. Yeah, use kind of cheap disposable brushes, to be fair. I do think if you've got bad, like if you've got horrible brushes, and I won't say cheap brushes because I don't like anything to do with price, but if you've got brushes that are basically kind of worn out, or they're sort of the tips are bent, or they're kind of like splayed because you haven't washed them out yet and the hairs are separating in them and stuff like that, I think you'll struggle to get brush control, and I think new painters maybe don't necessarily know when it's time to kind of replace a brush, when it's dead and buried, if you like, and it's time to buy new ones. So I do think there's an element of that, and I think sometimes when, like as I said before, I think sometimes basically people don't always look after the brushes because they think, oh well, I'll just buy some new ones, they're fine. But if you look after them, like even cheap brushes, I think if you look after them, they pretty much they last a decent amount of time, or certainly long enough. Cypher says, hoping to be more automotive driven with airbrush in future, but me and my son are disassembling a Nerf gun to paint. Ah, nice one. A lot of people do repaint on Nerf guns. Yeah, airbrushing, I don't find airbrushing too difficult. I think there's a real kind of trick to basically thinning your paints to the right amount, and kind of just setting up your air pressure and stuff. And then after that, really, it's pretty straightforward. But I think if you're fighting with it and you've got, it's difficult if you've got nobody to physically show you where you're going wrong, and you keep getting it clogging, and you're not experienced enough at that point. It's a bit like 3D printing in that respect. Is that actually it's not that difficult when everything's going right, but if you're new to it and you encounter a problem and you don't know how to fix it, it can become very frustrating. Yeah, I like my airbrush. I don't do it for anything fancy. I sometimes kind of use it to get some nice kind of base color blends on something, and then I'll kind of pick out the highlights and stuff, a way to paint a bit quicker. Excuse me. I should probably use it more often, if I'm honest. Christian's trying to call for a night. He's off for work, or off to get up for work. Night, mate. Take care. Enjoy your weekend too. Beauty saying there's nothing better than a new brush. There is quite a nice feeling about having a new brush, isn't there? John, good evening, John. How you doing? He says, what you painting? I'm painting Mr. Ears, mate, who is a model from War Cradle Studios. It's a model that can be used in either Lost World, Exodus, or Wild West Exodus. So yes, that's what's on the table this evening. And I'm just kind of using an Agrax wash just to pick up some of the metallics and the straps around the shoulders, just to give them a little bit of depth. And we'll highlight them when they're dry and stuff. We're doing for time 10:30. That's not. I think we'll probably get this wash on and clean the brush up and stuff, and maybe call it there. I think tonight. Time for a drink. My throat's getting dry, and I didn't bring one in with me. But yeah, it's been nice, folks, tonight. Just sitting having a bit of chill, bit of Eurovision chat, bit of football chat. Just a bit of a good old nana, really. Cypher says, for me, it's a lot to do with my thirst for knowledge. I spent a lot of time learning different forms of welding and soldering PCB boards. I used to work in electronics many years ago. Served my apprenticeship as a electrical engineer. And that's what I used to do before I basically got promoted out of it and started just managing other people. Yeah, a lot of my qualifications are in electrical and electronic engineering. Right, I did use Agrax. I did use Nuln oil on some of that fur, but I feel like the black's kind of blended in with it a little bit. I'm just using a little bit of Agrax just to darken it down and give the fur a slightly different colour, because I don't feel like it's kind of standing out quite so much. Peter says, yeah, same here. I could have just airbrushed the red on those blood letters. Yeah, to be honest, mate, it's what I did the other week with the Armada ship. Like, too many times I've I've sat on a live stream and just painted a big blot of colour. I mean, like for this, for example, I probably could have dry brushed. I could have when I've Zenithal primed it, I might as well have kind of primed it with grey, with a little highlight of kind of white just to lighten it up a little bit. And I could have got the base colours down that way. So I kind of forget sometimes, and I use it as a tool to get like things primed and stuff, and I forget really that I should use it more often. Some of the things I've done with the airbrush, I've been really impressed with how they've turned out. So I should use it more often. Cypher says, your detail painting is fun satisfaction. Yeah, it's just chilling, mate, just relaxing. It's just find painting very therapeutic. Find it even better when I'm sitting having a conversation with you lot as well, with friends. It's nice it's kind of like a nice little relaxing pastime, really. And the idea of these live streams was twofold, really. I mean, one is I need to kind of paint because I need to get stuff done for the channel and things. So if I'm sitting painting, I might as well pop a camera on and have a chat and stuff and hang out. And the other one was really just to show people that you don't have to be an expert. You don't have to win awards. Like, I'm not winning any awards with my painting, but it makes me happy. I enjoy it. So yeah, that's the purpose of these kind of hobby hangouts, really. Just they're a community thing. They're about getting everybody together, just having a bit of a hangout. My watch is going nuts here. We've got a Marvel Crisis Protocol Facebook group, and they must be having a good old natter in it. I'm getting message after message coming through on my watch. Right, I think that'll do for this evening. So let me just move that across. Which way do I want that? There we go. So yeah, so we've kind of got the base colours down. We'll let that wash dry and stuff. What I'll probably do to finish this off is I've got some stuff to do with the weapon around his eyes and around here and stuff, like around his goggles. I'll probably do some colour on there. We need to finish off the hat. We need to finish off the sort of the tabard around his waist. We've got these little vials and stuff to do, and some kind of like little energy things, and the strap on here. I'll do a little bit of kind of dry brushing as well on some of the fur once they've dried. And what else was I going to do as well? I'll probably lighten some of the grey around the face and pick out some highlights around the chest and stuff. And then we'll do the base as well at a later date, really. So yeah, that's kind of we'll just let that one dry, I think, and do for this evening. So, John says, I've been lost in Robot Kid Bash the last couple of weeks. I don't know if I'll ever get to use it in the game, but it's fun anyway. Nice one. Cypher says, I would love to see you airbrush at some point. To be honest, you know the little battery operated ones I've got, they're probably quiet enough. Let me go. They're probably quiet enough to probably do on a live stream without kind of overwhelming the camera. We might do that at some point. John said, I worked out if I shake the paint with the hand my watch is on, it doesn't tell me that I've been sat for too long. Like, just like sit with your hand in the air like oh, yeah, I have stood up. Honestly, I've stood up. Peter says, speaking of Marvel, did you ever finish the Deadpool bust? Did I finish it? Let's have a little look. So, I haven't completely finished it, but it's not far away, to be honest. This is where I got to with it. Zoom out a little bit. So that's where I've got to so far. It needs a bit of highlights. It needs some kind of like, these are like basically like silver parts. Need picking out on it. I need to do something with the base as well at some point. But I kind of I highlighted some. I sort of build some of the reds up and stuff. Needs a bit more kind of shading and stuff on it, but yeah, it's not looking too bad. Not looking too bad. Marco, good evening, mate. How are you doing? Says, sorry for joining late. Just finished working. Mr. Ears looks great and is wearing the channel colours. Kind of beat a bit of red and black, mate, can you? Sunday Sykes says, slept through my alarm. Don't mind being late for work, but I missed the stream. Nice to see you anyway, mate. Thanks for popping in. And Marco saying, good night, everyone. Marco says, an oil wash on that bust would be super. Yeah, I've been talking to Martin from Mantic, and he's kind of super into his oil washes at the minute, so I'll probably have to try it at some point. He was telling me all about it. Cypher saying Deadpool is sick, well done. I quite like it's somebody saying there as well, it's a clean job. It's really detailed in it. There's stacks of detail in it, so it looks really good. Is that camera stuttering a little bit, or is it just do you know what it is? I don't think it's stuttering. I think it's because there's a slight delay on it, but there's a delay on the sound as well, so the two will match up. I think it's just when I'm glancing at it, that's what it is. Marco says, congrats to England for going through. Look forward to England, Germany, and always go Italy. Yeah, go the Azures, eh? Peter says, yes, totally asked to see how you did your red to compare to my bloodletters. Thanks for the peek. If I remember right, mate, so let me get the colours that I tend to use for my reds. We'll do. I tend to, if I can go back down to here. So I tend to use Mephiston red. I think that red might be corn red. I think that's the kind of, which is like a slightly deeper red. I think that's corn red on Deadpool. But I tend to, generally, I'll go Mephiston red, Evil Sun Scarlet, and Wild Rider red. And I'll kind of like build those up like that. And that's generally how I kind of highlight my reds. You almost want to highlight up to orange a bit, really. If I put them there, you can kind of see the colour there. Yeah. So yeah. Right, let me get my brush soap. We'll clean the brushes out while we're sitting finishing off the chat. And then I think we'll call that an evening. Productive evening at that. So what's everybody's plans for the rest of the week? People got plans for the weekend. I know we've got John's got his picnic that he's looking forward to. Anybody else up to anything? John says, I have an ancient Forge World bust of an Orc Warlord, but haven't felt quite ready for the last 19 years. Do you know what? I think a lot of people do that, especially if it's something that's kind of cost a few quid. They basically get that kind of like fear of messing it up, but at the end of the day, like, how bad's it going to be? Like, surely it's better than it never ever being touched, unless you're going to sell it, I suppose. Peter says, yeah, corn red. I started with the same one. I tried something different and started from a purple undercoat. I tend to like painting red from like a almost like a white or a grey undercoat. I find anything else, like painting from a brown, painting from like a purple or something like that, find it ends up looking too dark. I like to start from a lighter base. Clean this one as well. That's those two done, and then just my dirty one that I use for getting paint out of pots and stuff. I also need to buy some more brush soap. This is practically gone now. And I need to buy some more kitchen paper because that was the last sheet I had. I've got to make that last tonight. Right, folks, that is that. That's those brushes cleaned out. Just clean out the inside of this soap pot as well. John saying, yeah, he's got a 4K game of Kings of War tomorrow. 2v1. Nice. Nice. Bliss is supposed to get up to 40 degrees C this weekend, so staying cool is a priority. Yeah, we've got a bit of a heat wave coming to the UK as well over the next few weeks. The weather report looks pretty damn decent. When I say a heat wave, it's not the heat wave that you're getting, obviously. It's just a damn sight warmer than it normally is. We call it a heat wave. Right, folks, I think that's perfect timing. Peter says you want to try and keep the races a bit purpley. They're demons, so don't mind them dark. Yeah, I guess from that perspective, mate, yeah. That's not too bad at all. Right, we'll call that a night, I think. Thank you very much, everybody that's joined the chat tonight. Thank you, Tony Howell, as well, if you're still around for the donation tonight. Much appreciated. Yeah, tomorrow, got a new video coming up tomorrow, so please do check that out when it comes up. And I'll see you on Monday's live stream. No idea what it's going to be about at the moment. No doubt I'll come up with some topic. I'll pull something out of a hat at the last minute. So thank you very much, folks, and I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching my video. I hope that you really enjoyed it. And if you did, why not consider clicking on the suggested video below to see more of the work that I've done. If you'd like to support the long-term sustainability of this channel, why not consider checking out my Patreon, where you can pledge and support from as little as $2 a month. And there is lots of different tiers and bonuses which will give you access to a private Discord server. It will give you free t-shirts, free mugs, a podcast every month, and a number of other things, including getting your name at the end of every video, like these awesome folks who already support me now.